Welcome back to a new weekly news video on NIO Stock, and today it's about, well, the rumors about NIO is expanding overseas to Europe and the US, my thoughts and my takes on that one, as well as, new business models that NIO is venturing in, which I personally find quite exciting. So let's talk about that. But before we do that, let's quickly dive into a little bit of charting, so technical analysis about what the NIO stock is recently doing. But before we dive into that, please, as always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, welcome. This is all about Chinese stocks and Chinese investment opportunities, and with a big focus on NIO as well as Tesla in China, as well as other stocks. For instance, recently I've invested in Huami as well as in Baidu, so stay tuned for such kind of videos here on this channel. Okay, so let's first have a look what NIO stock's been doing last week. And well, judging from the comments that I'm getting on the videos here, lots of people have been asking, like, when does NIO finally find some support? So last week in my video I outlined that NIO should find some support around the $11 mark, and that turned out to be luckily true, because NIO, well, they had a little break here, a false break below the $11 line, but then quickly rebounced and regained, quickly it's accelerating above the $12 a share. But, and that's the big thing, still in this overall downward trend line here. And then if you are following me on Twitter, where I make some comments about some technical details on the stocks that I'm trading. On Monday, I shared a tweet here, NIO, is there a wedge pattern? Because, you know, this overall downward trend was actually now meeting with the strong support line around $11 a share. And so I thought, well, there might be a squeeze imminent. And that's exactly what happened on Tuesday. So yesterday we had the share price up by almost 8% during the day, finishing by around 5%, squeezing off. And actually, right now, maybe supported through all the positive news that we had the last couple of days. For instance, what I've talked about in my last video about the EC6 launch, about the battery as a service joint venture with CATL and so on. It seemed that because NIO was in this downward trend, that this positive news wasn't really reflected in the share price. But sometimes it really takes the market to absorb something like that. And I think actually it was quite a healthy consolidation that the market, you know, seems to find the price at which NIO can stabilize. And now with the breakout here, I think it may have some room to run a little bit, maybe testing the recent all-time highs again, because of course there is mainly positive news around NIO recently. However, to have a really, once again, big breakout and making gains beyond the all-time highs, the recent ones, I do think we need more substantial news. So for instance, new delivery numbers, news on the gross margins, and some official news around those ventures and so on. So all in all, I think it's looking good for NIO in terms of the share price, and that seems that NIO will stabilize around those prices now. I think it will be unlikely to go below the $11 a share in the near-term future if we don't have really bad news on the macroeconomics or anything unsuspected on NIO. I think then it should rather improve from here, actually. As always, this is not tradable investment advice. It's just my personal views, how I'm currently reading the stock, and it's also a little bit technical here, so not always aligned to only the news, but also, you know, those pattern and trades that I'm seeing in the market here. All right, let's catch up with some of the important news, and of course one of it is that NIO is supposed to launch its international operations and go globally in the US, in Europe. A couple of you guys have sent me some direct messages. I always appreciate that, and some articles are floating around about, well, NIO and Li Bin, the CEO, announcing that NIO is prepared to go global as soon as in September this year. And well, I didn't make a video about it so far because I wanted to wait a little bit here, because actually I do think it doesn't really resonate and align with how I'm seeing NIO expanding. So on the one hand side, I do think, yes, NIO is preparing its international launch. So for instance, I'm seeing here on LinkedIn that some people are meeting with NIO and they are talking about that they are preparing their launch in Europe. Also, we get some news on the staffing in Munich. So now it's 3 positions they're hiring, not only 1. However, I don't think yet, even though that this is a great opportunity and time frame and time window for Chinese brands to enter the European market, I don't think NIO will do it lightheartedly, to be honest. And the reason is, I think, because the market in China is just so huge and it's doing much better right now than the markets in Europe and in the US. And that's NIO's home turf. That's where they have the competitive advantages. And this is also where, once again, preaching that NIO is more than a car manufacturer, where NIO has its home base and can offer all of those services, for instance, the battery swapping, the app in Chinese, Nomi voice assistant, all those things wouldn't work right now overseas, despite I'm super bullish on the demand from Europe and the US for their cars, because I do think they will be very competitive and very well received. However, for NIO, it's really not necessary to go to the US and Europe right now just for making sales. I do think NIO is currently supply constrained. They're trying to ramp up production to 5,000 units a month. And this is what NIO is working on. And they can easily sell this in the Chinese market. They don't need to go to Europe or to US in order to boost their sales here. So I do expect that NIO is actually preparing much more on the international side in terms of doing their homework, doing their market research, thinking about how they can actually provide those services that they are delivering in China also in overseas markets, and actually also thinking about how they need to be localized and adapted, because they're certainly not going to look the same in Germany or in the US. So here my bigger view is that actually I don't think that NIO will be going to Europe early as September. I don't think actually that we as shareholders need such kind of news in order to get excited about it. I think there's a lot happening in China already, and I also saw that some of those articles, they have been removed once again. So one of this news was about a German analyst, which I don't think he is a particular expert on NIO. He's removing this article again. So I don't think there is much substance for that. Even though I do think, NIO is in the background working on expanding overseas, and they should be busy in preparing it. Okay, and last but not least, something that I have been actually assuming a long time ago. I was planning on making a video on the exact topic, that NIO will actually enter used car sales as a platform, because I was thinking about this myself when I was browsing through the NIO app. As you can see here in the NIO app, you are able to purchase used NIO cars, and this one actually resonates really well to the founding background of Li Bin, NIO CEO, who has been formerly also the founder of BitAuto, which was actually backed also by Tencent and then taken privately. And so Li Bin, he has this experience actually of launching online e-commerce related car platforms as news service, but also as transaction service. And now we got here some rumors about that NIO has been adding car distribution brokerage onto their business scope. So that makes sense, because NIO is actually already doing that within their app with the existing fleet, with their users. However, they should be expected to broaden this up even more. So here it says, the newly added business mainly takes aim to the buyers who want to replace their old cars with new NIO vehicles, meaning that NIO will also be responsible for selling those pre-owned cars and correspondingly shorten and streamline the car shopping process for consumers. I have to say, I'm really excited about this news. I'm very bullish on that. If you look at this here, it's a gigantic market in China. You need to know that the used car market is something new in China, as mostly in the past people have been buying their first cars new. Now only they're becoming used vehicles that are trying to sell in order to get a new car at some point in time. So this is a entirely new market segment here, and it's extremely growing, extremely big. And now it's a perfect timing and entry for a player like NIO to get into this market. So one article I found mentioned that the Chinese automotive aftermarket revenue, including automotive parts, insurance, used cars, automotive beauty and accessories, and miscellaneous services, is expected to record a compound annual growth rate of 7.7%. So that's quite juicy here, and increasing from 290 to 523 billion US dollars as a market in 2025. So this is really exciting because it's a huge market that NIO has some good prospects in launching due to their app with the user base. NIO has a super active user base within this app, many downloads, and it's more than just an app for buying the car, which is actually great as well because they really also know a lot about the e-commerce process of actually buying the car. That was one of the key strengths of NIO during this COVID crisis and the lockdown, and that's why NIO did so well during those quarters. And well, here it also reads, the Chinese automotive aftermarket is likely to be diversified by e-commerce platforms, especially in online to offline parts, retail and repair and maintenance services. So Alibaba and Tuhu are the key platforms, and the e-commerce penetration is likely to increase from 12 to 40% in 2025. So with this strong asset that NIO has in e-commerce, in the app business, and now going into this used car market, I think NIO could actually have billions generated in revenue from that, and it really adds well into this greater ecosystem as outlined here. So once again, as I'm always saying, NIO is a mobility and a lifestyle platform with NIO Live, with the NIO app, and also with the NIO cars, which the cars are essentially the install base for the NIO users, on which they provide services like entertainment in collaboration with Tencent, the robo-taxi fleet together with Mobileye. They build and sell the cars together with GAIC Motors, and now, as outlined in my last videos, with CATL, they will launch the NIO battery as a service. And now, in addition to all of this, within their app, they will create this platform for used car sales with a streamlined e-commerce flow for both selling the used cars as well as buying the new NIO cars, and possibly also for a verified marketplace in the NIO app for also reselling the NIO vehicles, which resonates really well with the battery as a service strategy because, you just sell the car itself and not the battery, so the degrading of the battery isn't an issue anymore. So you see there is a real ecosystem evolving here, and that's why I'm really, I think you see it positive about it, because this really shows that NIO is so much more than just a car brand in one, selling cars and generating revenues through the cars that they're selling. Instead, they have many additional services on top and a really strong network effect within that ecosystem, and that's quite unique. That's something that no other Chinese car brand has. That's also nothing that legacy OEMs have, and frankly speaking, it's even more advanced than what Tesla is currently offering here. So all in all, I think that's quite good news here on NIO. As outlined, I'm taking a back seat on the NIO expansion globally here. However, on the other hand, really excited about all those new ventures with the CATL, the Mobileye plans, and now also with the used car platforms. So this should really add some value on NIO valuation in the future as well, and make it more resilient and more unique as a business to own. So let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and also once again, please slash the like button, support us on Patreon if you want and if you can, and as always, see you in the next video and stay tuned for more content.